Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the Frigidaire dryer upper felt seal. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new upper felt seal. The upper felt seal is what the dryer drum rides on in the front. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's worn out and you're getting a metal on metal noise, or your clothes are getting pinched in between the drum and the bulkhead and damaging them. In order to get to the part, we have to remove the top of the dryer. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and go around back to remove the screws. With the screws out of the way, we can take the top off. All you have to do is pull it back about a half an inch or so and lift it off the dryer and set it aside. With the top off, we can take off the access panel. It's held in by two Phillips screws. We're going to reach down there and take them out with our screwdriver. Once you have both screws out, you can pull the access panel out a little bit, let it drop down, and then you can pull it off the machine. With the access panel out of the way, we can remove the two screws that hold the bottom of the front panel onto the frame. We can disconnect these two wire harnesses that go to the main console. All you have to do is grab each one and press the releases and pull them apart. Once you have them both disconnected, we can feed the ends through this zip tie so we can pull them out through the front. With the wire harnesses disconnected, we're going to remove these two screws on each side and then one screw down here on each side that holds the front panel in. You want to be careful that you don't drop those down in front. If you do, we're taking the front panel off anyways, so you can get it in a minute. There's 4 retaining clips that hold the front panel on. You notice there's one right below each of the screws we just removed, and then there's one more about a foot down below each one. To release the upper panel retainers, we're going to take a putty knife and stick it through the opening between the front and the cabinet. And then we also have to lift up on this metal piece right here, because as we twist the putty knife to release that clip, we have to lift up this little locking tab. So we're going to lift up a little bit and then twist the putty knife and it should pop out. Once you have that one off, we can go do the one on the other side. You want to be careful because the lower ones will probably come out on their own. If they don't, you can use the putty knife to pop them free. But once they're free, you got to hold the panel up and support it. Once you have the panel totally off, you can set it aside. We're going to take a towel and lay it on the top so we can lay the front panel on it and show you how to change the felt seal. You can lay yours on the floor or on a table, wherever you have room. To get the upper felt seal off, we're just going to take a putty knife and get behind the seal. It's just held on by some adhesive, so once you get it started, you can just pull it off. Once you have the felt seal removed, we can go back with a razor blade and a wire brush and clean off all the residue so we can put the new seal in. Now that you got most of it off with the razor blade, we can take a wire brush and clean off as much of the glue as you can. Here's the old upper felt seal next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. You do have to order some high temp adhesive. It doesn't come with it, so make sure you get that too. All right, we have the upper felt seal laying out across the control panel on the back. So we're going to put some of the high temp adhesive on it. You want to make sure you give it a pretty good coating. And basically you have to let this sit on the felt seal for a minute or so to get tacky, so then we can stick it up onto the front bulkhead. While we're giving that a minute to get tacky, we're gonna check our white felts, the lower felt. If you find that the edges are coming off, we're gonna throw a little bit of glue on there so it gets held in place. Now that the glue is set up, we have some clothespins up here ready to hold the seal in place once we have it laid out. You want to carefully line it up and push it into place. And then grab the clothespins and just go around and secure it. And on this end, if you were putting glue on the white, you can kind of put it over both to hold it in place. Once you have all the clothespins on to hold it in place, we're going to give it about an hour, maybe a little less, to let that glue set up, and then we can put it into the dryer. Once you have it in the dryer, you have to let it set for 24 hours before you put any heat to it. So let it sit here for an hour, and then 24 hours once you have the dryer put back together. Now that we've let the glue set, we can take the clothespins off and get ready to put the front panel back on the dryer. We're going to lift the front off the dryer and then take the towel off. Now we can put the front panel on. First thing we're going to do is line up the blower housing seal down there and then push it up so the retaining clips lock it in place. Once you have the lower retainer started, you're going to have to reach in and lift up on the drum so you can push the panel in the rest of the way. Now that we have the panel mounted, we can put in all the screws and reconnect the wire harnesses. Now we can put the screws in at the bottom. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and put in the 2 lower screws. Now we can replace the 2 upper screws that go on the inside of the cabinet. There's one on each side right above the clips. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver again. Again, you want to make sure you're careful with these screws. Use a magnetic tip if you have. Otherwise, if you drop it down there, you're going to have to go fishing for it. Now we can put the 4 screws that go across the top in. All you have to do is line up the holes and tighten them down. Now that we have all the screws in, we can reattach the wire harnesses. First thing we're going to do is feed them through this zip tie that we took them out of earlier. Once you have them both through, we can grab the other ends and match them up and slide them together. There's only one way they can go, so you can't mix them up. All you have to do is press them together so they get a good connection and lock together. Now that we have the wires reconnected up top, we can put the access panel back on. All you have to do is line these pins up with the holes and lift it up into place. And then we can use a Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now that we have the access panel back in place, we can put the top of the dryer on. To put the top back on, you want to very carefully set it down so that the front of it goes right in that groove and that the little notches are lined up with the tabs on the control panel. And then you can push it forward. With the top in place, we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put in the 2 screws that hold it in place. Now that we have the dryer put back together, we can plug it back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.